You know, at this point, I don't even know if people care about this, which is kind of sad considering a lot of people were hyped about Red Dead Online a couple of months ago, like before it came out, when the single player came out and we were all enjoying that. Everyone was super hyped for online. Like, man, single player, but with our friends, like that's going to be so much fun. Hopefully they learn from GTA Online and they don't have a lot of the issues that it had. Oh, but now 3-4 months later, is there anyone who even plays games still? I'm sure there's going to be some people like, oh, Saints fan, oh, you're missing out, man. There's a lot of us that play the game. Look, all right, maybe if you like it, sure. But I just want to make this rant. This is not going to be a typical Rockstar logic because the game is just so bad. And I just want to talk about why I think Red Dead Online is the biggest failure of an online game I think ever. Like, with the amount of hype and the company that's backing it, this game has to be the top dog on that list. I know some people could even say Fallout 76, another recent game that came out. That was definitely not a good launch. That was not a good game. But I think Red Dead Online even beats that. Now, the saving grace of Red Dead Online is that it is connected to Red Dead Redemption 2, the single player. Without a doubt, hands down, the single player is one of my favorite games of all time. So at least when I paid $60, I got to play the single player, and that was totally worth it. The online, unlike, Fallout 76, wasn't its own thing. So I guess if you want to put some points in Red Dead Online's favor, that's the only thing you can say. But Red Dead Online, why it's the biggest failure? This is coming from this past week because the Rockstar released an update finally to the game where they didn't fix a whole lot of bugs. Like they barely fixed anything. A lot of the major issues people were having, there's still issues in the game, despite them having like 7 pages worth of fixes on their patch notes. One thing that just really upset me, and it shows that they learned absolutely nothing from GTA Online and from the gaming community, they added emotes to the game. Now, emotes by themselves aren't bad. They've been in GTA Online, they've been in countless other games for forever, right? But you know what? They cost money. An emote costs like $100+ in Red Dead Online. That's what Red Dead Online has come to. And that's not the only bad thing. That was just one of many. One of the other things that happened, they made a big deal about them releasing the Evans Repeater, a fan favorite from Red Dead Redemption 1. Well, turns out it wasn't released. It's going to be drip fed. It's going to be released in a week or two, if not longer. But the funny thing, there was a daily challenge, a new feature to the game, that included getting kills with the Evans Repeater. So that just shows you how much of an afterthought it seems like Red Dead Online is. They don't even know that the gun they are releasing isn't being released to not put into the daily challenge list. And there's many other things that we can go down the list on what Rockstar are doing wrong. But that is the problem. I've said this many times with GTA Online, but the same applies with Red Dead Online. The opportunity is there to make one of the greatest games ever. Could you imagine in Red Dead Online, in its world, yeah, the PvP is kind of wonky, but disregarding that, could you imagine playing with your friends, having camps or having ranches to go back to, sort of just living that game or living in that game world, sort of role playing with everything? That would be the dream. And I think a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2 players would love that. But no, that's not what Rockstar want. What they want is something that's easy for them. They want something that can make them money. They want something that they don't have to put a lot of time and effort and work into. Now, that may be generalizing a little bit. I'm sure not everyone at Rockstar are into what they're doing, right? I'm sure this is just the upper tier people trying to make the most money. But what's sad is they don't realize, while that may be better for them short term, it kills everything long term. In a year, when the game probably comes out of beta, the game's not going to be good all of a sudden. The economy is still going to be broken. Matter of fact, they broke the economy even more in the game. Hunting, which was one of the better ways to make money, they nerfed it again. So even if they did add some crazy like heist level DLC, I just don't think Red Dead Online will be as good as we thought it would be. And that's what's sad. I guess maybe I could be wrong, and in a year or two after they release maybe 4 or 5 DLCs, the game is much, much better, but I don't see that ever happening. I honestly believe that Red Dead Online is kind of like an afterthought because they see that, all right, man, people don't like it as much. We're just going to focus on GTA Online and GTA 6 going forward, and they're just going to do some minor things with Red Dead Online, right? And that's kind of what the last 2 updates have been. They advertised an update as having a new mode, but it was literally like a reworked TDM mode that now became a battle royale mode. It was such a stupid mode. And then obviously with this last DLC, they added some new features to the game that I guess are good, but they implemented them in such like a stupid way. I've seen people complaining about the new bounty system and the new daily challenges. Players are getting griefed even more now because those challenges and the bounty system are broken. If someone defends themselves from a griefer, they now get a bounty on them. And the challenges, they are encouraging good players, good honor players, to go out and grief. Like, Rockstar have just done everything they could do wrong with the game. And I've seen some people compare it to GTA Online way back in the day when it first released, and they're like, oh, well, GTA Online didn't have what it has now, and, you know, obviously it was kind of bare bones, but it wasn't as bare bones as Red Dead Online. I believe at the beginning, GTA Online had like 70-ish contact missions on launch. What do we have for Red Dead Online? Like, what, 10? GTA Online also had a number of cars and apartments you could buy and work towards. What does Red Dead Online have? A horse and clothing. Oh, and I guess now emotes. So I don't see the comparison to GTA Online back in the day, because while GTA Online back in the day was bare bones and didn't have the greatest launch, it still had a better launch and way more content than Red Dead Online has now. Plus, also back then, online was different. Rockstar wasn't as stingy with their pricing. They still had the shark cards, but they didn't nickel and dime you for everything. They didn't charge you like $300 for a damn shirt or $100 for an emote back then. And honestly, back then, 5 years ago, this was all so new, so that's why people enjoyed it a lot more. But Red Dead Online, it's coming out in a time where we're now used to GTA Online, and we're used to all these other free games and other online games. And the same stuff that might have worked early on in GTA Online, that's not going to fly in today's day of age of gaming. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place in this video, but it's also funny how they have the feedback section. I really wish I could see all the replies to that feedback section, because I'm 99% sure, like, every other one is something along the lines of, stop being greedy. Like, we're willing to pay you money, give you money for stuff if you just don't go completely crazy with the items you add. Like, don't add emotes for $100. You know, maybe if you add them for like $5, all right, like, it still sucks. They should be free, but $5 or $10, like, okay, sure, whatever. That's not that much money, right? And maybe if I enjoy playing the game and I don't feel like I'm getting nickel and dime, then hey, you know what? I'll buy some of the gold, the real life money stuff, and I'll give you $20 or $50 if I really like the game. Like, I'm sure that's what a lot of people are saying, but you know what? They don't care. That feedback, that means absolutely nothing. And now they just open up, completely kind of off topic, a feedback for GTA Online, as if the last 5 years people haven't been giving feedback enough. Like, we don't want the BS vehicle flags. But you think that's going to stop them? No. They're going to keep updating stuff and putting things in the game that we don't want because it makes them money. And that's sort of the sad part. Like, the greed of Rockstar, like, it's got to be the downfall of them one day. And I hate to say that because I love Rockstar games. I love GTA Online. I love GTA 5. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I love the original Red Dead Redemption. But the way it's going, it's like, God, I can only imagine what GTA 6 Online is going to be like. I'm sure the single player for GTA 6 will be great. But what is that online going to look like? Is that online going to be worse than Red Dead Online? Whoo, man. If so, that's going to be rough. I really hope not. But we said before Red Dead Online came out, hey, look, Rockstar, they're going to learn from GTA Online's mistakes. They learned the opposite. They learned how to make it worse somehow. And it just sucks, man, because I was so excited for Red Dead Online. I was so excited to sort of play again in that environment, in that world with my friends and go hunting and, you know, maybe raid some people every now and then, or I don't know what exactly I was hoping for, but I was hoping for something different than what we got. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I shouldn't have been expecting something that's actually good and fun, but I don't know, because there's not really any other game company that makes the games that Rockstar makes, which is another unfortunate part, because like they have a monopoly on it. And you know, one final thing I want to say before I end this video is the fact that there's silence coming from Rockstar. Like some of these other games like Fallout 76 we mentioned, that, you know, was a complete and utter, I would also say, failure when it launched. At least they have developers like on forums and stuff responding to people saying like, all right, we're going to fix this. We're going to try and help you guys do this and that. All these other games that have come out, like they have people, they have a community manager, they have someone responding to certain people and giving them updates and stuff. What does Rockstar do? They're living in 1974 where you can be silent and it still works. And that's starting not to fly, man. If they would at least give us a roadmap of a Red Dead Online, that would be a little better. They don't need to give a specific release date, because obviously they can't hit release dates. We've seen that numerous times over the years. I'm fine with that. Don't give us release date. Just say like, look, this is kind of what we're working on, like big things. And they did this kind of like a month or two ago with online, but they only said, oh, okay, we're just adding player blips that disappear. We're just adding bounties to the game, but not anything big. Like bounties, that's not going to get people to come back. But if you're like, all right, we're going to be adding ranches and the ability to build your own ranch, like that's kind of what we're working towards. Don't know when it's coming, but that's what we have on the schedule. Stuff like that. It's like, all right, you know what? That sounds kind of cool. I'll be on the lookout. And you see it in all these other games nowadays. All these other companies have developers or whatever you want to call them answering, responding to the community. But Rockstar, nah, they don't do that. And that's another thing that really, really upsets a lot of people, including myself. I mean, you guys in the comment section, I'm sure will let me know. I'm sure there'll be people, oh, well, Saints fan, dude, it's just still in beta. That's such a dumb excuse, man. And I hate that. I hate that Rockstar can literally put beta on it and then all the problems apparently don't matter anymore, because once it comes out of beta, it's going to magically be fixed. Like that's not how it's going to work. As much as I would love for that to work, it's not how things work. So ultimately, is Red Dead Online the biggest online failure ever? I'd say so. I'm sure some people will find other games that had worse onlines and everything, but just everything going into online, everything, the hype, the company, the single player, and all its features, like none of that has translated, or most of it at least hasn't translated into online. And like they're back to their old ways of GTA Online's DLCs, where they don't release the content for single player. Like that new gun that we mentioned, it's not in single player. So if you're a single player gamer and you're enjoying and loving the single player, you're not going to experience the new content unless you go into online. So like they're not learning. And that, I think, is why Red Dead Online is the biggest online failure ever. And it's kind of sad that I don't really see this. Like a lot of news outlets and stuff, they don't really talk about this. I don't know how many times I've seen news outlets crucify Fallout 76 for all the problems it has, but I've rarely seen that for Red Dead Online and all the problems it has. Same kind of with GTA Online. It's like people have been complaining about microtransactions and all these other games. Like I hate EA, right? EA sucks for sure, or whatever, but they add microtransactions to a game and they're the devil. GTA Online adds microtransactions to the game, Rockstar adds them to the game, and no one cares. So I don't know. This has been a long video. I guess my rant is over. The entirety of Red Dead Online is a Rockstar logic. I legit don't know what they could do to add to the game to make it good again. I don't know how they will repair the relationship they have with the community, because they keep just making it worse and worse. I guess only time will tell, and in a couple years, we will see what comes of all this. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.